Hi guys. Super short life update. I'm so sorry I've been gone for so long. 2024 was high-key the worst year since 2022. I was also trying to lock in for the fall semester, kind of like what I did like last semester or the semester before that. I'll also be a lot busier for the next few months because I'm also trying to move out from home and a bunch of other stuff that I need to put my attention to. So I was like, oh, it's break. I gotta give the people something. So here we are. I'm also going to update my Patreon tiers and their perks soon, so I'll make sure to make a little announcement when I do that. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm hoping to post more art and life updates there too. Okay, that's it. Thank you. College. You learn so much in those 4 years and you do so much in those 5 years that they're supposedly the best 6, 7, 8 years of your life. Freshmen get really excited when they get to pick out all their stuff that they're gonna have in their dorms and what their roommates are gonna be like. And I was too, but by the end of the year, I never wanted to room with a rando ever again. So Victoria and I were obviously gonna be roommates, but we also found these 2 other girls that we were gonna room with. So we thought it would be cool to live in a suite. It would have looked something like this. But it kind of fell through because Anastasia met this guy named Graham and decided to date him and wanted to live with him. Victoria and I advised her not to because they had only known each other for like 2 or 3 weeks, and they lived on opposite sides of the country, so they couldn't meet in person beforehand anyway. He was also a piece of shit and they both cheated on each other, but she still stayed, so we just decided to distance ourselves from her. I don't know what happened with Millie, I just can't remember. A week or so later, we got our roommate assignments, and ours was honestly so fire. It was me, Victoria, and this other girl, Mari, and we were gonna be in the school's renovated dormitory. I thought Mari was so slay. She loved horror movies and Halloween and anime, and we just had a lot of similarities. We made a group chat and talked about all the things that we were gonna bring and chose our move-in date and time. Come move-in day, and I'm downstairs trying to check in when I get a call from Victoria. Hey, what's up? Have you moved in yet? Nah, dude, I'm downstairs. I just got here. Is Mari here? No, she's still like 20 minutes away. Why? Someone's stuff is already in the dorm. What? I hang up and ask one of the people working at the desk. It basically went like, hey, do you know why someone's stuff is in our room? Room 510. Yeah, no, that's your roommate's stuff. But our other roommate is still on the road, so... Yeah, no, that's your new roommate. We changed your roommate. Y'all changed our roommate without telling us? Well, no, not really. The housing portal changes all the time. You should have checked it. So I call up Mari and tell her that she's not our roommate anymore. She didn't even live in our building anymore either. Eventually, I make my way up to the 5th floor where I find Victoria waiting outside. We go in together and she was right. A whole side of the room was already taken up with someone's stuff. There were shoes all over the floor too. But they weren't just any shoes. They were designer shoes. Like every single pair. Fuck. We got a snobby rich kid. I know. You're probably thinking, Saf, that's a little mean. You can't judge someone because they have designer shoes. First of all, yes, I can. Second of all, she left them all over the place. Victoria's mom eventually kicked them out of the way. As we're unpacking, our 3rd roommate comes in. If you watched my Halloween video from like several months ago, you'll remember that Ruin is our roommate, and she sucked. She came in, looked at the shoes, and went, who moved my shoes? I did. Oh. Well, who are the new roommates? Okay, well, my name is Ruin. Nice to meet you. Ugh, oh boy, here we fucking go. The beginning of the fall semester was kind of weird. We didn't really interact with Ruin for the first month and a half because she just didn't live in the room. She had a bunch of stuff there, but we barely saw her. She only came back to shower, grab clothes, and occasionally take naps. We ended up finding out that she was living in a room on the 3rd floor that everyone called the brothel because people would constantly see different girls going in and out. When we eventually were on better terms with Ruin, she decided that she was moving back in. At first, I didn't really understand what she meant by that because all of her stuff was already in our room, but I was so very wrong. An hour or so later, Rune comes back from the brothel with almost the same amount of stuff she already had. Girl, where the literal fuck did you get all this shit from? Well, I didn't have time to do laundry, so I just bought new clothes. This one time, I was hanging out in one of my friends' rooms. I'm not really sure if he wants me to use his real name, so I'll just call him Al. I was hanging out with Al when I got a phone call from Victoria. She told me that she was coming back to the dorm and just wanted to change her clothes before meeting up with some friends for D&D. Rune was in there with a random guy, and she asked her if she could have the room for a minute. She politely agreed and sat outside. But after several minutes, she texted Rune asking if it was okay for her to go back in, and got no response. So I got up from Elle's room and made my way back to the dorm. I told Victoria that I would enter the room, pretending like I didn't know what was going on. I unlocked the door and was immediately met with Rune and this random dude canoodling. Unfortunately, with the layout of the dorm room, her bed is like right in front of the door, so I saw everything. Rune immediately kicked the dude off and covered herself. Oh my god, Gabby, I'm so sorry. Are we still cool? Dude, we are not cool right now. And we weren't cool for a little while. She was super dirty and loud and obnoxious. As she had mentioned, she never did laundry. Instead of cleaning the clothes she already had, she would just buy new ones, and old clothes eventually began to pile up. She also never washed her blankets and sheets for the entirety we roomed with her. Rune also had alarms that would ring super early in the morning. Unfortunately, she was a very deep sleeper, and I wasn't. So her alarm would ring at like 7:30 a.m. and it would ring for at least a minute before I'd get up and wake up Rune to turn it off. But then another alarm would go off minutes afterwards and the cycle continued. But then it got to a point where I just wouldn't wake her up. I'd go over, turn the alarm off, and then turn her phone off. I know, guys, I know. You don't have to say it. But a girl needs her beauty sleep, and when it happens for multiple weeks in a row, you kind of snap. I remember when we had roommate check-ins with our RA, Rune mentioned that her phone kept turning off, and I had to act like I didn't know what she was talking about. But she came to us and told us about it and wanted some advice. We told her that she shouldn't bring him into the room anymore, and that she shouldn't go near him at all. After that, the story kind of changed a couple times and it started getting confusing, but we still stood our ground and told her that he wasn't welcome. This one night, when friends and I were hanging out, Rune asked for the room. I told her it was a school night, so we didn't want to be out. She said okay and retreated into the bathroom. She was in there for a couple minutes before coming out and asking us another question. You guys are gonna be so mad. So I know you said that you don't want Kay here, but he's right outside the door. Girl, what? Can I let him in? What the fuck? No. Oh my god, this girl. We just decided to ignore them and just have fun without giving them any attention until we start hearing stuff. Wait, everyone shut up for like 2 seconds. Holy shit. Rune notices that we're all listening and they stop doing whatever the fuck they were doing. But then she rips the blanket off of them and everything is out. This is when we decided that enough was enough. A few days later, we decided to set up a meeting with the resident director because this shit was getting out of hand. When we eventually sat down with her, we told her about all the stuff that Rune had done in the past few months. And that's essentially what's been happening, and we just cannot take it anymore. Oh, well, I'm sorry that you've been going through this. Yeah, it sucks. Unfortunately, we can't kick her out of the room. If you want, you guys can request a room change. Why do we have to move when she's the problem? It was just a suggestion. Also, we can't follow through with your Title IX filing. Wait, why? She's had sex in front of us twice. See, the thing is, it's only happened twice. It needs to happen again, and you need proof. What the actual fuck was this lady talking about? How the hell do you tell 2 college kids that had been sexually harassed twice that nothing can be done because it hasn't happened 3 times and there needs to be proof? We told the RD that we literally could not get proof because Ruin was only 16 and we were not about to catch a case. But she told us that there was nothing she could do. Oh my god, this school's a failure. Spring semester was alright. I personally was on better terms with Ruin, but of course she had to go and just start pissing me off again. It was a night like any other, just chilling on my bed, probably doing homework or something, when all of a sudden, Ruin comes rushing out of the bathroom. Gabby? What's up? I think our bathroom's flooding. And it was. And instead of putting a towel down or some paper towels or something that actually soaks up water, she put her blanket down. Her fucking blanket. It didn't do shit. We called maintenance and they didn't do anything either. Someone basically came up, looked at the shower for a couple seconds, and then left. I don't remember what I did, but I basically fixed it. I also washed and dried the blanket and the bath mat because, you know, Ruin has never touched a washer or dryer in her life. I was such a good roommate. It was crazy though because the bathroom flooded again, but it only ever happened when Ruin was trying to use the shower, so God only knows what she was doing in there. In March, she said she was going to move out and I was over the moon. I told all my friends and even thought about throwing a party if she actually did it, but she didn't. And Victoria and I ended up moving out a couple weeks or so before move out day. When I went back to the dorm to pick up some stuff after not being there for a week or so, it was awful. The room smelled terrible and there was stuff all over the floor. You know how I told y'all that Ruin didn't do laundry all school year? Well, her pile of clothes had grown larger and was practically covering our side of the room. Also, remember that blanket I cleaned when the bathroom flooded? Yeah, it was on the floor again, covering a puddle of milk. But it wasn't like fresh milk. No, that shit had been there for days. It was literally so crazy how someone could live like that after being by themselves for maybe a week. Whatever. I just grabbed the last of my shit and I never saw Ruin again. Sometimes I wonder what Ruin is doing with her life. Like, I wonder if she still attends that university or she made new friends or anything. I don't know, man. Oh well, life goes on. I feel like 90% of my videos are school related, but that's just because I literally don't do anything interesting. I just work, go to school, sleep, repeat. That's something else I wanted to talk about actually. I wanted to post more than just animated story times here. I want to post IRL travel vlogs and maybe some funny moments from games and stuff. What do you guys think? It's not like a full rebranding, but it's just something I thought about. I don't know. Like and subscribe, buy a commission, follow my Instagram. Bye guys, see you.